Hola. Hola, ¿qué tal? Bueno, como dijo Pablo, gracias
As Pablo said,
a los que se quedaron hasta
I want to thank all
hasta el
all
final.
those of you who stayed
Y
until the
bueno,
end.
partamos
And maybe we could start
de inmediato
immediately
la frase que adorna
with that
esta mesa
phrase
redonda.
addressing this round table.
¿Cómo crear un Dream Team?
How to create
En una
a dream
organización.
team in an
¿Qué
organization.
experiencia
What experience have you
han
had?
tenido usted o cuáles han sido los
Or
principales
which
desafíos
have been the main
que han tenido dentro
challenges
de sus agencias
you've had within
para lograrlo?
your agencies? Micrófono, por favor. No. No. I'm going to try and refer better to clients' dream teams more than our own. We are going to. I think that leaders of many organizations and marketing teams are the ones that lead interaction with us. That's what I see. Practically, marketing is managing their team, and that's the team interested in analytics. That probably is a false approach, because they already have that's a silo within the organization. It's not a dream team within the client, but that's so. Sometimes it comes from upper levels, a general manager or somebody in the board that leads it for the organization. And there we can see that sometimes more interesting things take place. Not only the marketing approach, but also they start dealing with service, quality of service, and so on. But what I've seen in the teams that has surprised me is that people in those positions that manage maybe better digital aspects or analytics not necessarily are per se analysts. It's not because of what they studied, they manage data. No, whatever profession they have, whether journalists, communicators, marketing, system engineers, they are curious for data. They have an innate curiosity, and maybe companies looked for them, and when they hired them, if it were so, I would congratulate companies, but they did something so that people in their everyday work became interested in managing their whatever they manage with data. What we see basically in those organizations, that in their dialogues, the ones we attend, team people ask very good questions. And that's because they are based on those data they saw and motivate them to ask more and better. I used the definition in a recent event that in this sense, for me, the idea of insight is the capacity of an organization to learn to ask better questions. A team manager that works on this wins. That's my contribution. First, I will talk about my team. This year we have seen our EBITDA very affected. I think last year it was 30%, and this year it will be 18% if we're positive, because we brought more talent to the company. The first thing we did was to hire people of a very senior level, board managers who could add to the knowledge of the younger teams. We looked for them in companies that already were performing analytics, or even our own companies, people who worked in airlines like LATAM, customers as Belcorp. We looked for people who could define that. And what did we look at mainly in this kind of team? We hired approximately 4 persons this year. Passion, that's what we wanted. Passion for the digital activity and innovation, and great knowledge. For consultants, junior, first line or analyst consultants, we've decided in our company there are approximately 7 persons among us that are professors in post-degree and pre-grade. pre-degree. For example, I teach at Universidad del Pacífico, that's the most important business university in Lima, and right now we have 10 persons from Universidad del Pacífico working with us. And there are other persons that can teach. So we've decided to have people that have almost no digital knowledge, but that are very interested on the matter, and to train them. From the 10th cycle, we are hiring newly graduated people, and approximately in 1 year we have a consultant. Also, we've established that the minimum time that should remain there should be 2 years. And sometimes we've done as a company is to decide. We know there will be a moment when they will not be able to find something more, but we want them to live with our clients, to go to our clients if they leave. This year we've placed 6 or 7 of them in banks, media, retail, and it's as we've shaped a circle. We've done this with our clients also. We selected personnel for them, we trained the personnel, and then delivered it, in some cases after a month, sometimes more. I think talent is the main piece to do this, but it's first to bring in very high-level talent that will change the organization to train as soon as they leave school and create a constant culture of learning. I think that makes our team very motivated. And our clients, what they're doing, many of them are hiring people who have worked in agencies or with other clients, and thus we have a culture is taking form. I don't know what happens in Chile, but in Peru, universities with the largest amount pre-grade courses are 2 or 3 only, the courses. And I think that now we're seeing that need for talent. And in fact, in Peru, I think we have a talent group that is very good, but based mainly on the fact that we've had to train those kids. First, we see them in the university, we see they have interest, and we take them to our organization and give them the final training. In Abaco, in Mexico, we do approximately the same. When we're looking for an analyst, we look for a person that likes to learn, mainly that they like much to learn, because things are changing all the time. So it's something that if someone is not curious, it's not fit. They should be like to learn and be very curious, because every day we learn a new thing, we read something, we try something. And if you're not willing to do so or to listen to others, that's not good. So we look for people where we detect their capacity to analyze, but also that they are very about to graduate in the last semester of the school, and they join us, and we start from zero to teach them what analytics is, what AdWords is, how digital works, what a click, a landing page, everything. So from zero, they understand everything. And mainly what we look for is rather for analyst capacity, to see that they won't have problems in managing numbers, that precisely the insight that they should not have so many problems in finding what's important within so much data. To find exactly such important information among so many data, because in analytics and any other tool has a world of data, and it's important to find someone that within those all numbers can say, invest here, change this kind of banner. If you move this audience, you could make 30% more. So they should be able to make things concrete. But finally, we're looking for profiles that are very analytic, very open to learn. Because in the end, to become a consultant, you must know about many things. You cannot limit yourself to saying, I know analytics. You also need to know about advertising platforms, codes, need to understand at least a GTM level, AdWords double-click, to recommend what to do, how to move, how to improve. Need to know what's behind and how it works. So it's a capability to learn and understand things, especially interest and analytic capacity and capacity to make many concrete things, many data and something concrete that will lead you to good results. Yes. In Mentalidad Web also we follow that approach. When we work, we train people from the basic things and we grow with them. But how do you consider, for example, incentivating or motivating that professional so that he or she continue to grow or develop or acquire knowledge, and so they don't stagnate and then say, I did it already, I learned everything I had to learn? How do you see this, or what do you do to motivate this professional to go further beyond and become the best? We have two recent experiences. In our relation with Google as partner in AdWords, they compete among agencies. And one of the components is learning. That companies that can certificate more people in more areas, this we give it to the team and say, look at this, we can compete and win, and they motivated and they won the money. Last quarter in Central America and Caribbean, and they're very proud. So they started learning to approve exams to win something. That was a great experience. And another experience, we did something similar in the team, precisely to learn to use the optimized tool, the 360 tool. We have an account. We made internal teams, and each team had to design experiments, execute them, and then we analyzed to see who produced the best change result through Optimize. So it's like competing, yes, but we need to learn to win. So we are applying that as a method. But, for example, in tools as Tag Manager, where maybe there's no specific way to make them to compete, a tool that can be somewhat more dull, to say so, not so amusing, because you're not saying immediate results. How can you generate motivation? What we try to do is, once a week, for the expert, because there's an expert in AdWords, one double-click, another in TKM, the other in analytics, to try to have every week a workshop where the expert transfers the knowledge he has about the tool during the workshop. But precisely at the beginning, what we faced was that people said, oh, I have a lot of people depending on me, I have to do my work, I cannot go to the workshop. So what we did was that more than a class, it was applying knowledge to something that was real, that would be useful to say, it was not a lost hour. It was not only a class, but it was an hour in which I advanced with my work. For example, AdWords, when we taught them analytics, we said, we're going to take your campaign, the one with the least performance, and we will look in analytics how to understand or improve it. And at the end of the period, they took their own insights and knew where to invest more budget or what settings to change. And that is what we tried to do, to learn constantly about the other tools, especially because we have internal knowledge, but we need to convey it. That's it.
Something that we have done during this year is that we have created digital transformation for those who have been for 1 year in our company. We give them a bonus between $100 and $150 that they can use for whatever they want. Even pole dancing classes, whatever they want, literally. But we, of course, or suggest that they use it in something fruitful. But they can have this participation. We have people from Mexico, Chile, that have been participating as well. And this is like a diploma. You have a case. If it's an innovation using technology analytics, etc., we give them an award, and the one that receives that goes to Silicon Valley. And people told us about that, but we have shown that the return is different, of course. One of the things we have, the differences, is 27 years. That's the age average. But we have junior consultants between 23 and 25 years old. And there are people that if you don't give them the constant learnings or differences, they are going to leave. We're a small company. We have what, 35 people in our staff, in our payroll, but we cannot compete necessarily with of course money if we compare it to others. But training, the environment, we have the learning environment. Yes, that's something we can compete on. So we train them. If you want to be a specialist of such and such, then if you don't want anyone else to be but the expert in tag manager, for example, in Peru, that's it. Here, you have someone who is the expert. If you want to learn between 4 to 6 months to learn everything else specifically and work on it perfectly. Because we know that the challenges are going to be very high, but the other thing that is also happening is that the millennials usually do not stay in our offices for too long. If you teach them, they're going to leave. That's what they say. Yes, true, but what we try to do is to try to get people who is at such a level, such an educational training level, that if they leave, they do to serve a client, to work with a client, which is the best of the scenarios, and they will hire us afterwards. That's a strategy, of course. But we also know that we try to no one who leaves in our company, who leaves our company, leaves to our competitors. So that's a culture, sort of. That if you leave the company, try to go to be the head or an analyst, senior analyst, or something like that in one of our clients. So you guarantee that they're going to be staying for at least a couple of years. They have been with us 5 or 6 years, most of them. But we have, of course, certain turnover. But we had to try to set very clear goals, and it has worked. That means that we are talking about systems engineer, IT engineers. We show them, Scott, I don't know if you could see that. There is some presentations that we're really happy with Tag Manager. I know it might sound weird, but we can also get excited with it and with everything that we can do. And there's a lot of people that really is excited about it because we have engineers, statisticians, and others, or administrators that are going to be so impressed about Tag Manager that I might say that in Peru, for example, I think that the 2 or 3 young people who's working with us in Tag Manager, a couple of them have a very high level already. And that means that they know that they are working for the best in the country, and they are telling them what are the things that they should be doing, and they are only 22 or 23 years old. So for a kid, a guy of this age, of course, they know what's best, and they are starting with a very good ground and constant training, as I said. So I think that learning is a cultural thing. We have something that is called Neotalks. So once a year, someone comes to explain or learn something extra. And internally, they also have a small budget for coffee breaks. And if they want to teach something or learn something, they can, certainly. And we always try to be very keen on learning, because that's the only thing that will make the difference or represent the difference. That's the way we're doing it right now. This year, everything has gone very smoothly. We were talking about motivation, right, to our professionals so that they can grow. I think
perfilando a estos profesionales.
I would like to ask, what's the experience you've had profiling these professionals? Because you might have someone in an area, and I don't know if you have certain methodology or certain experience with the way in which you can profile certain profile in a specific area. Something that we have done is, since we are very small, we do not have human resources. But something that we have been working on is the good profiles. So we have gathered many times with the specialists and heads to know who would be the the best person. So we work on that over and over until we find, and at the very beginning, we have a psychological, we run a psychological test. We like wackos, but only so far. And then we do need to have a certain logic, of course. We give them certain algorithms to see if they can manage it. We give them some programming as well, if it's analytics, or tag manager, of course, to know if it works or not. We have realized that someone who already knows about programming, tag manager, would very easy to understand, because it's the same logic. For the strategic analyst, it's just one case. Harvard, with data, we create an Excel with all that data. We give them an hour to analyze that data, to go through the case, to go through the presentation, and then to do that hands-on. In 1 hour, no one can do it, maybe. None of our consultants can. Certainly, but we want to sort of push them to see what they can do in an hour, because that's what they are going to undergo. Maybe a client will come and they will say, well, what I asked is not what we really want. I really want you to tell me about attributions, and you might not see whatever you were looking at. That's exactly where we want to go. And then we have also seen the peers that they are going to work with also intervene. Then hiring someone could take a month. But we have already realized that if we do not invest that amount of time, we will make more mistakes. And at the end of the day, the time that we thought we were saving because we were doing it faster is really like shooting our feet, because we have misled our team. And so the team is really making other decisions. The last buy-ins, the last people we have hired have been hits, and also the strategic decisions have been very good, but it's always variable. Sometimes you might have all the things that you need, like the profile and everything else, and there's just a couple of variables that you did not define, and might be, for example, motivation. We always try to be on top of them to know, because there's a 21-year-old guy who wants to be a millionaire when he gets to be 30. Maybe he won't be a millionaire, right? That's what we tell them. But this will be useful for you, so that whenever you supervise and you get to be a millionaire, it's important that analytics is also clear, because you might have a startup or whatever else. So we try to find what's the real encouragement. So we have to be very clear. We are getting to the end of our session. In a word, the concept of a summary, what should a professional have to be part of a dream team? Passion, someone said. Eager to learn. One word? Sure, one word only? Let me start. Minimum digital competences, right? That's, for me, the starting point. Eager to learn, I would say. And that, as anyone else, should be someone who has this grit, that capacity of maybe be challenging enough to learn new things. So people who just is really not contributing is tiring for the team. Basically eager to learn and not having that you don't get disappointed, because many times disappointments should be something you have to bear, you see, because you might make recommendations that do not work, do not go forward. So you have to be patient enough, you have to be tolerant enough to keep on going. I mean, to be ready to stand despite those issues. You might say, hey, sales are going to be double after this, and then when it comes to time, that doesn't work. There are some clients who might be difficult, and then they say, that's not what I wanted, although they ask for it. And then next day, they will change some other little thing. And eager to learn, as I said, and then once again, that we're tolerant to frustration.
Pensamiento crítico.
Critical thinking.
Resiliencia, que es también
Resilience.
El tema de poder afrontar
It's also
todos esos
something
problemas,
important.
Y pasión.
And passion.
Son las tres cosas que buscamos en el equipo.
Those were the
Gracias.
three things we look for in a dream team.